Hello, my name is Sandra Romero, and today I will be discussing the theoretical similarities and differences between interpersonal communication and mass media. Mass media is a form of making certain messages accessible to people all around the world. Interpersonal communications is an intimate relationship between two or more people. The theories that I will use to highlight the similarities between the two are communication privacy management theory and Altman and Taylor's social penetration theory. The differences will be shown by exemplifying kinesics and Gardner's cultivation theory. Communication privacy theory is designed to understand how people make decisions about sharing personal information with somebody else, which would then be considered the co-owner of that information. This is done by making privacy rules. Once these privacy rules are broken, if they're ever broken, it causes boundary turbulence in the relationship. An article called Communication Privacy Management Theory, Exploring Coordination and Ownership Between Friends states that when boundary turbulence happens, it's because a third party got a hold of the information that was only between the set of people that had originally come together. In 2002, two researchers, Green and Faulkner, did a study on people who found out that they were HIV positive and how likely they were to tell their partner. The results of this showed that people who thought that their partner would react in a negative manner didn't share the information with them at all or took longer to share it. And usually people shared it with a third party, so like a close family member or friend, and that way they were able to rehearse what they were going to say to their partner and feel more confident about saying it instead of just doing it right away. When information like this is shared between people, it's important that they have boundary coordination. This is when the owner of the information clearly tells the other person exactly if they are able to tell people or they're not able to tell people. We see this a lot with kids when they say, "Hey, I'm gonna tell you who I like, but don't tell anyone." They're using boundary coordination. With news as big as this, being HIV positive or something really intimate that people don't really want others to know, if the privacy rules are broken, then there is a chance of that relationship being terminated because of that. Just as privacy rules are important in interpersonal communications, they are also very important in mass media. We have accounts with different websites, but they always keep our information hidden, our credit card numbers, our addresses, our phone numbers, things that we don't want everyone to see online. In an article called The Digitalized Self as a Public Tender, Conceptualizing Informational Privacy at the Intersection of Information, Technology, Commerce, and Public Policy, the author shares that in 1999, a high school girl was murdered by one of her classmates. The way this happened was, the way he got a hold of her was he hacked into a website that she was registered in and got all her personal information, her address, her phone number. He was able to get her social security, and due to that reason, that fatality happened. Another reason that privacy policies are important through the mass media are that people can get different information from someone and just burst it out to the whole world. this was the case in 1988 when a Video Privacy Protection Act was enacted. So what happened was that a journalist publicated inappropriate video rental records of a Supreme Court nominee, and obviously that affected the nominee's running. So the court decided to make the Video Privacy Protection Act, and that way everyone is protected and everyone is able to keep their First, Third, and Fourth Amendments enforced fully instead of someone coming in, manipulating that person in that way. Now I'll shift from the rules of a relationship to lasting intimacy by explaining Altman and Taylor's social penetration theory, which was formulated in 1973. Their theory states that closeness in a relationship starts really simple and then gradually evolves into an intimate relationship after both parties have disclosed different parts of their life. A good example for this would be the onion theory. It explains the 6 stages that the social penetration theory has. It starts with the outside layer of the onion being the biographical data, so everything really general, like your name, your age, different things like that, and it goes in deeper and deeper, and as it passes through religion and it passes through politics and your dreams and your fears, eventually it gets to the 6th part, which is the concept of self. As I mentioned before, this theory was formulated in 1973, and in 1988, thanks to technological advances, we were able to apply that theory in online relationships as well. Tang and Wang, the authors of Self-Disclosure Among Bloggers, Re-Examination of Social Penetration Theory, state that bloggers may share personal opinions and feelings on the internet to online audiences who may read and comment on their blogs. So this has them disclosing themselves to unknown people. By disclosing themselves to the audience that they have, they can make friends and build strong relationships online with them. Another way that people use mass media to talk to others and build relationships is using websites like Reddit, their AMA section, or different websites or shows that allow the fans of bloggers or celebrities to call in and get to know the celebrity that's on that day. Now that I've shared the similarities between interpersonal communication and mass media, I'm going to share how they differ using kinesics and garbage cultivation theory. Although both of these communication styles have evolved and they have been able to grow closer together, it's never going to compare to face-to-face interaction. And the reason for this is Ray Birdwhistle's theory of kinesics, which is body language. He states that body language is very powerful and can discredit or reassure what the speaker is saying. Raymond, the author of First Impressions Really Matter, states that research shows that 90% of human communication is actually composed by body language signals. These signals could be a hand touch or a smile, anything that is nonverbal will strengthen that connection between the couple. In the article, responses to nonverbal intimacy change in romantic dyads, effects of behavioral balance and degree of nonverbal and verbal reactions. The researchers studied 100 couples and saw how one of the people in the couple reacted when their partner showed more intimacy or less intimacy. The findings were that the people who lowered their nonverbal intimacy in their relationship, the other person who was unaware of this experiment would always ask like what was wrong or why they were acting different. They would start apologizing for things that they had done in the past, and although they would speak to them and try to figure out what was going on, they wouldn't try to bring back that body language that showed appreciation or love. They were more cold, and they reciprocated the behavior of low intimacy. And the people who exaggerated their intimacy in the their nonverbal intimacy in the relationship, were actually reciprocated positively, and their partner would do the same thing, but the partner wouldn't change what they would say verbally. So they would hold their hands more, sit closer to them, but they wouldn't tell them they loved them or use words like more nicknames or things that they would say if they were more in love. Mass media also differs from interpersonal communications by being able to get a certain message across to a lot of people at once. And it's not only about news, it's also what they put in films or what you watch on TV. Things like that impact a person and the way that they view the rest of the world. So Gerber's cultivation theory actually focuses on the heavy TV watchers and the way that they see the world. In the article, This Show Sucks, the overpowering influence of negative social media comments on television viewers, it is stated that a growing body of research has found that social media comments that accompany news articles can affect viewers' subsequent perceptions. So an example of this could be priests and the Catholic Church. There's been, unfortunately, a lot of talk and a lot of things going on with priests and not keeping their celibacy, whether it be with someone that has like a big age difference, or someone who's engaged in a relationship already, or somebody of the same sex. But the way that the media shows this is more focused on the whole church itself, on all the priests, instead of just that one. So society has actually grown to believe that the whole Catholic Church is bad, that the beliefs of the Catholic Church are bad. Instead of only keeping it to one person, they're judging it as a mass. So it can affect people or certain organizations or groups in a negative way. But it can also do positive to different people or organizations. An example of this would be marketing. The way that media is used to market actually impacts a lot of people, like the people who buy Apple products. Those products are geared towards 18 to 45-year-old people, and the way that they're marketed to them is by using certain celebrities that are well known or that are from their generation to do the commercials for them. They also hype up their merchandise release by doing a countdown on their website days before or weeks before. And this turns into a movement that people talk about, that people want to be a part of. This has gotten so hyped up that a person has waited 240 hours before the release date of a Apple product outside of the store just to purchase it. After discussing the communication privacy management and social penetration theory, and how they bring interpersonal communication and mass media closer together, and talking about kinesics and the cultivation theory and how it plays a big role in differentiating both communication styles, we're able to see that both styles have evolved over time, but still remain different due to certain communication limitations.